Hello everyone, welcome back to Streed's Guide to Fraggle Rock. Today I'm reviewing Season 2, Episode 22, Doozer Is As Doozer Does. This episode starts out with Sprocket overhearing that Doc's applied for a job. Sprocket's heartbroken at first, but relieved to hear that the job's local. Meanwhile in the dome, Wrench Doozer narrates some recent events. We flash back to the past, and on his way to get some rivets, Wrench stumbles across a harrowing situation.
He must be dismissed.
Dismissed? What's going on?
There is nothing worse than hiccups.
Hiccups? But why? What do they do to you?
They make you dizzy and you hop all over the place and you don't know what you're doing.
In short, you can't work. Hiccups are dangerous, and for a delicate job like this, they're positively disastrous.
He asks Cotterpin how Doozers get hiccups, and she tells him that bouncing up and down is the root cause. Sometime later, Wrench talks about being on the same construction team as Turbo and the Rev Squad, who are considered the greatest Doozers around. You guys can see where this is going. Cotterpin appears and tells the team that they've become Support Squad A, giving Turbo an unstoppable invigoration, resulting in the episode's best song.
Talking really rev, I mean rev, not just really rev, I said rev, or just really rev, but rev, certified really rev, on rev, very really rev, never say never, say never, say never to rev.
I'll admit, this is far from a perfect episode, but this is far from an imperfect song. I loved everything about it. The lyrics, the visuals, that wicked-ass synthesizer, the very epitome of Rev. The squad spots some Fraggles, and we see Wimbley flooping around on his leap stick. This inspires the Rev squad to begin flooping as well, much to the dismay and fear of Wrench.
You gotta floop to be rev, and you gotta be rev to floop, right, Wrench?
Well,
Right, Wrench?
Sure. Right, Turbo. Right. Next thing I knew, I was flooping.
Back in the workshop, Doc is all dressed up and ready to go. Meanwhile, the Rev Squad sing a song that sounds like it belongs in an early 2000s stoner comedy.
What a startling revelation from their wonder on vacation. Crazy for invigoration, we're the flipping generation.
In the midst of flooping around, Wrench unfortunately gets the hiccups and runs away to an isolated spot. He feels terrible until Cotterpin arrives and his hiccups seem to have suddenly disappeared. By the way, I didn't mention this before, but why are Cotterpin and Wrench still friends? They literally beat the fuck out of each other in the Doozer contest. I guess they forgave each other eventually. Wrench makes it to the briefing and begs Turbo not to floop anymore. He doesn't listen, however, and the architect snaps at Wrench in a comical scene.
What did I just say?
You said wrench, Doozer. What did I just say?
Oh, no, I mean before that.
Oh.
Some time passes, and Wrench is riddled with doubt until he does what he never does and reads a postcard from Uncle Matt. Matt sees a line of silly creatures and mistakes a bus for a beast eating them, narrowly escaping it as he loses his favorite jacket, imparting the episode's message that just because everyone else is doing something doesn't mean you have to do it too. This message rings true to Wrench, and he drives off to tell Turbo what for. He arrives and tells them for the final time not to floop. They ignore him, and Wrench is officially revoked of his rev ship. We return to the workshop, and Doc is furious that he didn't get the job.
And then, do you know what she said? She said, I was probably too nice. Imagine me nice. You know what I'm going to do, Sprocket? I'm going to go back there and give that woman a piece of my mind.
We're back at the current time, and Wrench is finished writing his diary as he prepares to join Support Squad A to work on the Dome Foundation. Once in the Dome, everyone but Wrench has contracted the hiccups. As tensions rise, Turbo pulls a major dick move and attempts to get Wrench removed from the site. Things go from bad to worse, however, when Turbo's hiccups become so severe that he loses all control.
Turbo, get back! Look out!
and so it becomes patently clear looking at the...
Despite how flawed this episode is, I really appreciated how tense and suspenseful this scene is, especially when we're shown the ladder and how one false move could trap them down there. It always stood out to me as a very menacing shot. Luckily, however, they're rescued and Turbo's cronies admit that Wrench was the only one that didn't have hiccups. Some time passes and Turbo apologizes for how he treated Wrench and the two make amends. We return to the workshop and Doc's elated, announcing that he's got the job after giving Miss Ardath the straight goods.
I was wasting my time trying to impress her by dressing up. She wasn't interested in how I looked. She was interested in who I am. I think I'll see if she wants to have dinner with me tonight. Well, she'll just have to take me as I am. Right, Sprocket?
This is an episode I consider a guilty pleasure. It's definitely a very flawed episode, but I can't bring myself to really dislike it as much as others. This entry pretty much has the same issues as the Doozer contest. Its plot is very generic, predictable, and sitcom-esque to the point of cliché. However, what differentiates this episode from the tedium of Doozer contest is its characters. They aren't the most well-written outside of maybe Wrench, but they're fun and cheesy. Turbo is a huge reason for why this episode is as watchable as it is. He's such a needless jerk, and I can't help but laugh at how lame of an antagonist he is. The mean genie is what I'd consider a much better and compelling version of Turbo, although I genuinely liked how his character was redeemed at the end. A lot of these anti-drug episodes usually portray the raucous hooligan druggies as irredeemable and evil, but Turbo learned from his mistakes and made amends. It's a very wholesome conclusion that always makes me smile. As for the protagonist, Wrench, I felt sympathetic towards his character. I like Wrench. I wish he had more episodes to shine and flesh out his character more deeply. Upon rewatch, I didn't care as much for the narration. It felt like it served as nothing but padding and explaining things we can already infer. This entry had some great songs as well. Rev is a catchy, flashy, and groovy tune that perfectly embodies Turbo's reckless philosophy, and the flooping song is appropriately bouncy and fun. Overall, this was poor in terms of execution and plot, but rich in entertainment value and cheesiness. Fraggle Rock unfortunately fumbled its anti-drug message, but it doesn't mean the episode's harmful, just very anodyne and cliched. You could also read into this episode as a tale of peer pressure as well. I'm gonna give this one a staunchly fine mushroom. Well guys, that was the review, and I will see you all next time.